Last year, I made $2,802 from investing in the Ford Motor Company. And not because their stock went up a lot. It didn't actually go up that much last year. It went up like 1%. I made that $2,800 from their dividend. Whenever I make these videos about generating passive income through dividends, which can build and build and build, and then you can live off those said dividends in retirement, people always go, dividend investing is for the wealthy only. Regular people like us can't afford it, and that's not true. Now listen, I'm not talking about Ford here. I'm not saying you should run out and buy Ford. Their dividend is kind of iffy right now. I'm just using Ford as an example because it's a company that I have a large position in. The first investment that I ever made in the Ford Motor Company was in 2008. It was around $3 or $4 per share. Now I've since sold those shares, but I started repurchasing Ford back in 2010, and I still hold all of those. I would buy stock in the Ford Motor Company a few times per year. There wasn't any dollar cost average. I wasn't every single month, but I'd keep an eye on it. And every time it dipped a little bit more than usual, I'd say, hey, I'll pick up another 25, 50, 100 shares, whatever. And slowly over time, I amassed a very large position. I said that last year I made $2,800, and that was true. But last year was a little bit unique because Ford sold the majority of their stake in Rivian for a humongous profit. And as a Ford shareholder, they decided that they were going to pass on some of those profits as a very special one-time dividend. Even if you enroll in something called DRIP, or the dividend reinvestment plan, that takes the dividend and buys you more shares, special dividends usually aren't involved in DRIP, so you'll just get the cash in the account. So this is my portfolio, or at least for Ford, and you can see all my dividends here. And with the exception of that one-time special dividend, all those other dividends were reinvested back into the stock, which allowed me to earn 117 additional shares in 2023 at obviously various price points. So now I have an additional 117 shares earning me more dividends, which will then get me more shares, which will then get me more dividends. You wonder why people use the analogy of a snowball rolling down a hill? That's compounding. And yes, a lot of things could happen with Ford and their dividend over the next 10, 20, or 30 years. They could raise it, they could cut it, they could eliminate it completely. And that's part of the risk, and that's part of the reason that some investors don't like picking individual stocks. Investing is personal. It's all about your comfort levels. You got to do what's right for you. And speaking about doing what's right for you, smash that follow. Hey, thanks.